So, Mr. Gurumurthy, thank you for taking our time to join us today. It's an absolute privilege. Very, very happy that we are having this conversation, and I think we should give enough time for this conversation. So, very, very delighted to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Arnab.
Thank you.
It's a delight to talk to you because we get the freedom to talk, which was never available. It was always denied throughout my life. As a nationalist and as a proud Hindu, I always felt that there was something which was preventing the Hindus from expressing their true feelings as Hindus and as nationalists and as part of people in public discourse. I had the fortune of being associated with the Ram Janmabhoomi movement from the word go. It started in 1983, but there is a background to it. It is not that this movement originated on the basis of Hindu-Muslim relationship in post-independence India, but it happened long back. All this came out in the course of the exchange of documents between Hindus and Muslims as to how the Ram Janmabhoomi movement evolved from the 18th century, early part of the 18th century. And the British had recorded it. A British judge had recorded in 1886 when a suit was filed to take possession of the Ram Janmabhoomi. He recorded that it is unfortunate that a Hindu temple was demolished and a mosque has been built on its place. But it is very difficult for me after this length of time to hand over the premises to the Hindus. This was the helplessness of government with the judicial system, which had very limited scope to intervene in these matters. But the historicity of this was established by a series of struggles which the Hindus undertook. By way of military expedition, by way of war diplomacy, and it all every time there was some physical clash. The last was in 1934, when several hundreds of Hindus were killed, according to the British records. So the Hindus have been struggling for it on the basis of their continuous belief and the claiming the right to worship. This would have normally happened immediately after the country attained freedom, like it happened in the case of Somnath. It should have happened instantly. But the idea was to deny the Hindus their just and lawful claims to the three masjids. You know, it is not that the government was unaware, the political system was unaware, or the judiciary was unaware. Anyone with basic understanding of historic and civilizational forces, how they can, like a wave, again and again come and manifest, will have to only look at what Arnold Toynbee told the Indians in India in the Abul Kalam Azad Memorial Lecture in 1956. He made 3 points. He said that the three masjids are an ocular provocation because they were not built as religious symbols, but as symbols of conquest and domination of Hindus by Muslims. This should be removed. That is what he meant. And he said that you have not removed it means that you are very large-hearted or something, but he paid a left-handed compliment. But he quoted a historic instance of the Polish government removing the Russian cathedral, which was built at the center of Warsaw by the Russians in 1619. Exactly 300 years later, when Poland got back its freedom at the end of the First World War, the first thing the Polish government did was to officially announce the demolition of the Russian cathedral. Even gave running commentary over a radio that this being demolished, and a Roman Catholic church was built in place of it. Toynbee said this was the best way of removing the remnants of Russian domination. What he meant was India should have done that. And he even advised the British. He said, if I were advising the British, I will advise them to tell the Indian government to remove the remnants of colonial administration, because that would interfere between the good relations of India and England. This is how the historic forces keep the memory going. Despite that, there was an attempt to erase history, and even to say that there was no temple at all, there was no Rama, and Babur was a secular person. And this was so far as the Ram temple was concerned. The most pervasive lies were told after 1976, when Mrs. Gandhi appointed a commission. Mrs. Indira Gandhi appointed a committee of archaeologists headed by B. Bilal, who found that there was a temple standing on which the mosque stands. After all this, the Hindu claim was denied, deferred, delayed by the judiciary, by the government. This was on the one hand. And what was happening in politics? Aligarh Muslim University was declared as not a minority institution by the Supreme Court. It was reversed by law. And some happening takes place in Alaska Mosque, and Bhutto is hanged. And here you see huge riots, which have nothing to do with India. The right to riot, to express their feelings, was accepted as part of minority rights in India. And then Shabano case was reversed. And see this series of appeasement of minorities built up a very powerful and strong base for the Hindus to unite in the name of Rama. Rama became the symbol by which the Hindus united. And in 1983, the movement was launched. And the movement spread like wildfire. It is not that the BJP launched the movement. The BJP entered the movement 6 years later in June 1989. It was in Palampur they decided that Ram Temple movement, the BJP will participate in the Ram Temple movement. Afterwards, all other political parties opposed it. Tell me, between 1983 and 1989, there was no politics associated with the Ram Temple movement. Ram Temple movement was not spearheaded or participated by the BJP. It was a movement of the Hindu sons and saints. And this was a continuation of 250 years efforts. Which political party took a decision on that to either oppose or support? But when BJP supported, all others began opposing. This is how the polarization took place. And I will stop at this point as to how a cultural, religious, and just movement of the Hindus to rebuild Ram Temple at the place at which it was demolished and the mosque was built was converted into a political movement by pseudo-secular politics.